Fox Sports is back with some more NFL reaction material. And in this video, I react to Fox Sports NFL podcast Power Rankings. That's right. Fox Sports ranked all 32 NFL teams from the worst, number 32, to the best, the number 1 team in the NFL. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on whether or not Fox Sports knows what they're talking about. I'm not sure if they assigned this to Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, or Terry Bradshaw, but regardless of who ranked these teams, I have, of course, some thoughts. This is becoming a staple of the Bottom Line View, these reaction videos, and I'm having a ton of fun reacting to lists and videos all offseason long. So if you enjoy this style of content, make sure to let me know with a Gronk spike of the like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more NFL analysis, the most in-depth NFL coverage there is on the internet. Subscribe to the Bottom Line View for the upcoming 2024 NFL season. And let me know in the comments what you guys think of these Fox Sports Power Rankings, man. Let's hit it. Let's hit it hard. Let's go. So we have the Fox NFL podcast Power Rankings. These are the preseason Fox Sports Power Rankings. I don't know. I don't listen to their podcast. I was unaware they even really had a podcast. So just so you guys are aware, these are the Fox NFL podcast Power Rankings, okay? Now, let me put my face, my beautiful face, on the channel, and let's go. Okay, so at number 32, the Carolina Panthers. This is like, okay, I'd rather see one of two teams. Everybody is scared, guys. Everybody is scared. They're all scared to rank anybody but the Panthers or the Patriots last place. Shout out to my Panthers fans out there. I feel you, bro. Because it's rather one of us. It's the Panthers or it's the Patriots. It's rather the Panthers because they sucked before. They sucked last year. Or it's the Patriots because everybody hates the Patriots. So we're just going to throw them at the bottom. So why not, right? And then we're going to have the 3 or 4 commenters coming in. You're biased about the Patriots. They've got the hardest schedule, Mitch. They've got a rookie quarterback. They've got a rookie head coach. Oh, shut up. Get out of here. Patriots defense is good enough to be not last place. What do the Commanders have? What do the Giants have? What do the Broncos have that the Patriots or the Panthers don't have? I'm sticking up for the P names, baby. What do we not have here? Okay, you got Bo Nix. You got Daniel Jones. You got the next coming of Justin Fields, Jaden Daniels. What do we not got? Commanders got a crap O-line. Giants got a crap O-line. Broncos got a mid to bad defense. No weaponry. What makes them better? Come on, bro. So, I'm going to defend the Panthers. I think the Panthers are not going to be the worst team in the league. Why? Because I think their O-line could be legit this year. Let's look at the upside, right? They've got Robert Hunt now, $100 million man. They got Damian Lewis, an absolute beast in the run game, opening up holes for the best running back in this draft in Brooks out of Texas, in my opinion, the best running back in the draft, and Hubbard, who's not a bad running back. So they got a dual threat in the backfield. They have, in my opinion, a very much improved receiving core with Deontay Johnson. Now Adam Thielen takes a back seat. Leggett could be a pretty powerful downfield option, as well as you put the ball in that guy's hands, he can make magic happen. So they've got a multitude of receivers. Then you have a new coach with a positive vibe and an energy that could maybe sustain throughout the course of the season and perhaps uplift this team, because with Canales last year with the Bucs, he actually made that offense better and better and better and better and better as the season wore on. They didn't start off hot and then slowly decline. They actually got better and better and better and better. Carolina could do the same. Bryce Young should be a little bit better than last year. Yeah, I don't like Bryce Young. I think he sucks. But he could be better. And the defense, J.C. Horn, if he ever plays, they could be better. I also think the defense is generally pretty slept on in Carolina. They haven't been that bad in recent years. It's just been the offense and the quarterback play has been so bad, right? Denver, what do they have? Sean Payton? Come on, man. So to me, I think Carolina's not going to be the worst team. I actually think the Commanders and the Giants are 2 of the worst teams in the league. Like, unless Malik Neighbors turns into Odell Beckham Jr. rookie mode, I don't think the Giants are going to be any good. The O-line is still bad outside of Andrew Thomas. The tight end is not great. The running back is not great. The receiving core outside of Malik Neighbors is not the greatest. Daniel Jones looks putrid in training camp from all the clips I continuously see. The secondary is pretty bad. Front seven's good. Coaching's not bad. So that could maybe push them up a little bit. The Commanders, I mean, they've got a new coaching staff. I understand Dan Quinn has coached before. I understand that Cliff Kingsbury has coached before. But these guys have never worked with this team before. This is completely new for them. It's not even like Gerard Mayo, where he was elevated from defensive coordinator to head coach. He actually has worked with this defense before. You would expect success. With Dan Quinn, he hasn't worked with Jonathan Allen before. He doesn't know how bad these corners are. They had to sign a bunch of players, Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, etc. I think the Commanders are not a very good team. I think they could be the worst team in the NFC this year. I think they kind of need a reset season, in my opinion. Like, they just had one to get their quarterback, but they could use another. To me, I think the Patriots, because they have one side of the ball pretty good, I think the Patriots, like, low-key, their receivers are looking really good in camp. Polk, especially Javon Baker. I think DeMario Douglas can play. They're going to get Kendrick Bourne back. We know Hunter Henry can perform. Ramondre Stevenson, Antonio Gibson. I wouldn't be shocked if the Patriots were a lot better than the Commanders. Maybe I'm high. And here comes the, and make sure you got rookies. Shut up! At number 27, we got the Chargers, okay? The Chargers, I actually like this ranking. Yo, Fox Sports might know what they're talking about here. I like the aggression on the Chargers being bad. Now, that being said, it's hard to imagine the Chargers being this bad because Justin Herbert's on the team. So I'm going to play middle ground here. It's somewhere in the middle. Some people think they're 17th best. Some people think they're 27th best. I think they're somewhere in the middle because Justin Herbert's too good for that. I'm going to be honest. Now, do I think the clash between Justin Herbert being a pocket passer and Greg Roman being a run-heavy specialist, that's just a weird vibe? I think that the receiving core is going to be extremely inconsistent. Lad McConkey, Palmer, etc. I don't think they have an alpha target there, and I don't expect it to be the rookie. Their tight end position is pretty bleh. Running back position is pretty bleh. Quentin Johnson can't catch. And the defense, yeah, if Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa play with Morgan Fox up front, it could be pretty interesting. But I think their corners are not the best. I like Asante Samuel. I think Derwin James is a little bit overrated. I think Joey Bosa is a little bit overrated. I think the linebackers are I don't know, man. The Chargers are not very talented. That being said, though, I give respect for Jim Harbaugh. I give respect for the Justin Herbert. But at the same time, 27 might be a better ranking than ranking them 17th. I'm not even going to lie about that. 26, we got the Raiders. Having them above the Chargers is actually not a bad ranking. Look at how bad the Chiefs division is. At least one thing that Fox Sports got right is how freaking awful the AFC West is. The Raiders suck, right? The Chargers suck. The Broncos suck. That's what Fox Sports thinks. I actually don't think the Raiders suck that much. But those three teams in the bottom six, it makes more sense than trying to project one of them really to make the playoffs. Because the Raiders don't have the quarterback. The Raiders have everything else. I like the Raiders receivers. I love Brock Bowers. I'm excited. Offensive line, I think, could improve. Defense is nasty, but they don't have a quarterback. I'm not an Aiden O'Connell guy. I think he's okay. I think he's a fine, bridge starter. I think Gardner Minshew, I love the guy. I love the personality. I don't love the player, right? He has limitations. The Saints, though, I think the Raiders and the Chargers are better than the Saints. I think they're better than the Saints. I think the Saints are going to be a disaster. Their offensive line could not block a soul. Their defense is good, but I am concerned about Derek Carr. I'm concerned about that offense. I'm concerned about the coaching staff. I think Dennis Allen is a dead man walking, Undertaker. At number 24, the Tennessee Titans, they certainly are in this realm. They're in this 23, 22, to like 27 range. Anywhere in there makes sense for me. I'm not going to complain. I saw Will Levis throw an absolute BB at practice. Very, very impressive. If Will Levis is good, this team could be good. The Titans, don't be shocked if the Titans are better than the Colts. Everybody loves the Colts this year. Everybody loves the Colts. Don't be surprised if the Titans are better than the Colts. I'd be a little bit surprised if they were better than Jacksonville. But honestly, I would not be shocked if the Titans finish second in their division. If Will Levis is good, they could finish second in their division. I wouldn't be shocked by that. 23, I think the Vikings should be below the Titans. I think they have less potential and they're in a much tougher division. I just don't know if I believe in the Vikings quarterbacks enough to have them at 23, but I do like their defense. I do like their receiving core. I'm wondering when TJ Hawkinson's going to come back. I think Aaron Jones will provide a spark for the games that he's playing. I love the coaching staff and that, but I think the Vikings are somewhere around 24, 25, 26. Somewhere in that range. A little bit too high at 23. Cardinals are too high at 22. We learned today that they lost BJ Ojulari already, so there's another pass rusher gone. They don't have a pass rush, period, right? I think the Cardinals are in trouble up front. They're in trouble on defense. They won't be able to stop anybody. They'll be able to score points. They're going to be a fun fantasy football team. I might consider drafting Kyler Murray and Trey McBride and James Conner. Maybe Marvin Harrison. Maybe even Michael Wilson in larger formats. But the Cardinals at 22, that is nonsense. The Cardinals are nowhere close to the third best team in this division. They are the worst team in the division. They don't have a defense. Until I see them have a defense, then you combine not having a defense with having one of the bottom head coaches in the league, you are not a very good team. The Raiders are better than the Cardinals. The Titans are better than the Cardinals. I'd have the Vikings ahead of the Cardinals. I'd have the Chargers ahead of the Cardinals. See, a lot of these lists have the Cardinals and the Chargers swapped. That's kind of the thing I see. 21, the Colts, I think that's a fair ranking. You've got to find the middle ground of everybody that loves Anthony Richardson and the people that don't think he's any good. You have to find the middle ground. The Colts, I like the O-line. I like Shane Steichen. I like the run game. I like Michael Pittman. We'll see what Woods brings this year. We'll see what Josh Downs brings. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is going to have a huge year. I just think that Anthony Richardson is rather going to be erratic or at times injured. I think that will hold their secondary also out to dry, but I feel like that is going to really cap their ceiling because I feel like Richardson is just not going to be great consistently in the passing game. Very probably erratic completion percentage, things like that. I also feel like they're going to be a lot of fun though. And even without Samson Ebukam, I still think they'll be solid in the front seven. I just think they have a bottom 12 defense. So a fun offense, a fun team. I think they'll lose quite a few shootouts. At number 20, I think the Seahawks are a little bit too low, perhaps. I like the Seahawks a lot this year. I think they're probably going to make the playoffs, if not just miss. They've gone 9-8 the last two seasons, but I think they've upgraded their coaching this year. And I think that their defense is going to be really strong this year. I've brought that point up numerous times. I'm high on Seattle. At number 19, I think the Steelers are a little bit too low as well. I would have the Falcons at 17, a little bit lower. I understand if you think they're going to win their division, having them at 17, but they have Tampa at 14, which I think is too high. I think Tampa definitely should be a little bit lower. I think the Falcons and the Bucs are pretty much a toss-up. I just like the Bucs more. I think they're more proven. They're more well-rounded. They've got a better defense. I trust them more. But Atlanta, I think, has a better offense. I think Atlanta has more explosive ability if Kirk Cousins comes in and plays like Kirk Cousins. I do think the Falcons can win that division. It's just I feel like they're like 18, 19, 19, 20. I don't think they're quite that high. Jacksonville at 18 feels about right, maybe a little low. The Steelers a little low. I'd have the Bears a little bit lower. I do think the Bears have a lot of upside, but I also feel like the Bears are going to have a tough time because their division is very good, and I think they're not going to have as easy of a schedule as Atlanta, or they're not going to have as easy of a time. I don't think as Jacksonville, let's say. I think Chicago it's going to be tougher for them with the rookie quarterback. and all that. So at number 15, Miami, I think that's fine. I think that's actually a good rating. That's probably one of the more accurate ratings I've seen for Miami this offseason, or like closer in line with what I think. A lot of people have Miami in like the top 10, like Madden, for example. They have them like top 5. But some places have them like top 10. I think they're around like 12 to 16 range. I think that's where Miami falls. Tampa, like I said, is too high. I think the Jets are a little too low, but I understand it. Dallas, I think, is fairly rated. Honestly, I think Dallas is too high on a lot of lists that I see, but I think they're fairly rated at 12. I think the Rams are fairly rated at 11. I think that's probably almost dead on for where I'd have them. The Browns at number 10 feel like they're a little too high. I do think they performed and outperformed expectations last year, and a lot of people are looking at last year and just being like, well, they'll be healthier. Well, they'll have Deshaun Watson, and it's like, well, I don't know if it's really going to work out the same way. You know, schedule-wise, division-wise, Joe Burrow's back. You know, like, I feel like Deshaun's going to be inconsistent. I feel like this team is going to be around what they were last year. Very good defense, pretty inconsistent offense. It's just a matter of, can the defense continue to carry this team? I think they're around like 10 to 14 range. I think 10 is probably like their ceiling, though, just because it's hard to rely on the quarterback position for them. The Bills at 9 feels about right. I think the Bills are probably like 8 or 9 for me. Probably like 8 or 9, maybe 7 on a good day, right? But the Bills are one of those teams, though, that a lot of people are underrating. Like, a lot of people are like eliminating them from contention. I think that's incorrect. But I also feel like I'm also in that range of like, before the season, preseason expectation is that they like make the playoffs. That's my expectation for the Bills. Anything above that, I would be impressed with, just because this is a bit of a transition season for them. But at the same time, like, I think the people that are saying like, oh, they're not going to make the playoffs, or oh, they're going to finish second in their division, or oh, they're not going to win 10 games. Like, I think those people are dummies. So there's like a fine line with Buffalo that I think I'm kind of straddling here. But at the same time, I feel like the Bills are like 7, 8, 9, that type of range. The Ravens at 8, I think that's a really good ranking. I think Fox is on it. Like, Fox might be watching my channel. I don't even know, but I think that's accurate. At number 7, the Bengals, I think, are a little bit too low, but I can accept it. At number 6, the Packers. Like, I'd have the Bengals above the Packers. I think that's fair. Like, the Packers at 7 feels better to me than at 6 above the Bengals, right? The Packers still have a point to prove this season. Like, they need to prove that consistency at the beginning of the year. Jordan Love needs to be able to have a full season of success. To me, like, I do think they're going to be a contender, though. Like, I think the defense is really going to rise this year. I really like the talent. I think the scheme's going to get the most out of that pass rush. And I think the secondary will improve, if not only for health, but also for Xavier McKinney, who's really going to help them. And I think one of these receivers, if not multiple, will have a bigger season than they've ever had. So I'm looking forward to that. Jordan Love's going to have a huge year. So, yeah, the Packers around 6, 7, 8 feels right. Ravens, Bengals, Bills, Packers are all in the same range. I think the team that they're overrating here is Philly. Philly being at 4 feels too high. Now, I understand Philly has like the easiest schedule out of this entire group of like the top 10. But at the same time, I don't think you can really base your power ranking off of a schedule or like a projected record. I think your power ranking should be based on how good you think that the actual team is. And personally, I just think the defense is too flawed. I'm not a huge fan of the middle field defense that they have. I think they're kind of a slow defense. I do understand they got younger. I do understand they switched coordinators, Vic Fangio, Kellen Moore on offense. I do think the offense will be good, but I'm going to just continue to press this button. I do feel like Jalen Hurts is just being a smidgen overrated, especially in the top 100. Secondly, I feel like the O-line is still awesome. Saquon's going to help. The receivers are great. Goddard, I love Goddard. I think he'll have a bigger year this year with Kellen Moore calling plays. The defense, I just feel like they're a little slow. They're not good against the run with the smaller bodies they have up front. And I feel like they're a little like lackluster in the middle of the field covering people. Safeties, linebackers. I think they'll be fine at corner with Quinyon Mitchell probably playing well as a rookie. But I think they're more of like a flawed team than people realize because their roster is so strong. Like, I'd have Buffalo ahead of the Eagles. I'd have, you know, the Ravens, the Bengals, the Packers ahead of the Eagles personally. I'd have the Eagles probably at 9. That'd probably be where I'd put them. The Texans, I feel good about them being in the top 5. I'm glad that Fox is being bold enough to put them in that spot like I am. The Niners and the Chiefs at the top is accurate. The Lions at number 3 feels very good and comfortable. I do think the Lions, they have very high expectations. They're expected to take a jump because they have fixed their flaws from last year. But at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked if let's say they made the playoffs and they lost the divisional round. I wouldn't be shocked, right? That would be a step back technically, but that could also just be a result of like the conference got a little bit better. Like they lost to, let's say, the Eagles, or they lost to the Packers in their own division in the divisional round, or maybe they had to meet the Niners in the divisional round instead of the championship game. And those things could, they could slightly disappoint in comparison to last year just because of how it falls. But I do think the Lions are a really good team. Like, I feel really good about the Lions. I feel, right, like there's the Chiefs and there's the Niners. And then out of the rest of the NFL, I feel the best about how they're like them making the playoffs. I feel the best about the Lions, the Texans, the Bengals, the Bills, and the Ravens. That's the list. After that, like, I have some shakiness about the Eagles. I have some shakiness about the Packers. I have some shakiness about the Rams, the Cowboys, the Jets, etc. That is like they're in that group. They're like at the top of that group. After the Niners and the Chiefs, the Lions feel very good and safe. Right? I think these power rankings are really solid. I actually really like these power rankings. Like, talking about it. I think going through it, I wouldn't change a thing at the top, really. I feel like the Eagles are overrated. The Texans are in a good spot. The Packers are maybe a tad over, too high. The Bengals, I think, should be a little higher. The Ravens are in a good spot. The Bills are in a good spot. Can't really complain about that. I think the Browns are maybe a little bit too high, but not really outrageous, right? The Cowboys, I think the Jets should be maybe a spot or two higher. The Dolphins are in a good spot. The Bucs are a little too high. Like, it's really small things that I don't like about the list. It's actually a really good list. This might be the best power rankings I've seen. The Chargers maybe feel a little too low just for Justin Herbert. I actually like the bottom of the list. Like, I think Carolina probably won't be last. I'd probably have like Denver or Washington, but that's just me. The Giants, I think, are worse than the Patriots, but it's not outrageous. The Raiders, I would have a little bit higher. The Titans, I'd have a little bit higher. The Cardinals would be a little bit lower. But overall, I mean, it's a pretty darn good power ranking. This might be the best one. This might be the shine on the bottom line we've been looking for, guys. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about this Fox Sports Power Rankings. It's Mitch. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you in the next NFL reaction video. Let me know your thoughts on these power rankings, guys. Peace.